Hey guys, Rexlent here. Welcome to another video. This time in this video, I'll just give you a brief overview, a quick rundown of all the weapon sets available in this game and how they work. So to learn weapons, you either join the sect and then they will automatically give you their style, or you simply sneak into their training area and steal it. So I won't touch on builds yet. This is more like an introductory video to see what styles probably suit you based on first impressions and their playstyle. How Weapons Made works is that you can always equip 2 weapons. You can equip any weapon, any combination if you really want to, but all weapons usually have a pairing, and they're usually synergized with each other. So sword and spear, for example, usually go together. And the other thing you know that over here, these are internal arts, and there will always be one certain internal art. Think of it as talents. One of them will always sort of upgrade the style. They're usually integral that you have to equip to make the style better. So first things first, we'll start with Nameless Sword. Nameless Sword and Nameless Spear is the one that you learn from the get-go when you start the game. So first things first, we'll start with Nameless Sword. You need to know that there's a light and heavy attacks in this game. Light attack is just a left click on PC. Tap left click. Heavy attack would be tap R. Like that. But you usually use your skills more often. And then all weapons come with 3 skills. The first skill, the second skill, and the weapon switch skill. So first skill will be Q on the keyboard. Like this. You can tap it again. Second skill is to break away from the enemy. And then you press it again for a gap closer. This is for Nameless Sword. And the third skill is universal across all weapons. It's basically the switch attack skill. If I press tap, I switch to my spear. However, if you want to switch weapons quickly, you can just use your mouse wheel down. This is even faster. Only certain weapons have benefits of using the switch attack. So Nameless Sword, very simple. The first hit of first skill is a gap closer. You do it again, you'll get a 3-second shield. Same thing if you have the talent already equipped with for Nameless Sword. When you do the breakaway, straight away do charge attack, sword wave, and then you can do 3 sword waves. So again, that upgrade is the internal arts I'm talking about, like all these. So for Nameless Sword style, you get to shoot 3 sword waves after either doing the full skill 1 combo within 3 seconds, or you do the breakaway combo, the second skill, and then charge heavy. So that's how you play Nameless Sword. It's really simple and effective, and the sword waves hit really hard as well. Good for clearing mobs. And now the other weapon, Nameless Spear. Nameless Spear is a lot simpler. The first skill freezes the enemy. Like that. They'll get frozen for 3 seconds. The second skill is a little gap closer. That. And then what you can do with this spear is you hold a heavy attack. Charge attack for heavy. Like that. This is really fun against trash enemies, but might not be very useful against bosses because you're going to be standing still and bosses usually have super armor. But that's it for Nameless set. Now the next weapon set would be called, I think it's called Strategic Sword and Spear in Global. It's the other sword and spear set. So for Strategic Sword, it's a bleed focused build. You apply bleed stacks on your skills and it's going to cause damage over time. And the second skill will detonate the bleed stacks. Basically, all the stacks explode at once. So first skill, you can press it and press it again. So see how it has 5 bleed stacks here? And now use second skill. So it detonates the 5 stacks and it'll also add more bleed stacks right after that. So that's Strategic Sword. Very, very simple. It's all about bleeding. Even the charge attack. You can charge 2 tiers to it. Also adds bleed stacks. There's also iframe when you have that little dash. So second skill is always detonating the stack. First skill, apply stacks. And then second skill, detonate. Now if you have the internal arts equipped, you'll get an additional follow-up to both skills and also the charge attack. You basically just press it one more time. So it's gonna look like this. The follow-up attack immediately detonates them as well. Press it again. Like that. Same for second skill. Press it again. It becomes a gap closer and detonate as well. And then same for the heavy attack. Press it again. Like that. Little gap closer. So that's a Strategic Sword. All about bleed and detonation. And now for Strategic Spear. Spear comes with its own self buff. All you need to know is you press the first skill. Based on the number of hits you do this, you get a buff. And then you activate the buff by doing the second skill. And based on this, you might apply bleed stacks on the enemy, or also defense down, or just do more damage. And the heavy attack of the spear is a multiple thrust. Can be charged. This is really good for PvP. Can also be single charge. Like that. So yeah, that is strategic, sword, and spear. Moving on to the next DPS set. This is going to be dual blades and rope dart. This one is interesting. They both synergize with each other. Dual blades and rope dart. Starting with the rope dart. Rope dart, you basically press a heavy attack once, and then you're going to be spinning your dart. And based on how long you spin, you're going to get a buff. Like that. So the first charge is going to enhance a skill. The second charge and the third charge is going to give myself healing and also stance healing. So watch my HP as I keep charging. So this is only active when you're spinning. See how my HP is healing? Like that. And then you can either release it with light or heavy attack. So step 1, just tap heavy to start spinning. It's going to consume stamina. And then you either tap light attack. This one will knock enemies down. Or you press heavy attack. And that one's gonna bring the enemy over. Now, when you spin for the first tier, like this, you hear that beep. That means one attack is already enhanced. It enhances your second skill. So once I release this, I already have this buff active saying that my second skill will be enhanced. And what's gonna happen is when I enhance my second skill, I activate second skill, all my attacks will have a little rat attacking. Look at a little rat just attacking the enemy. Like that. So that's what the second skill does. This is unblockable in PvP as well, kind of OP. And the first skill is Gap Closer. If you're fighting bosses, you'll bring yourself to the boss. Or if you're fighting enemies, like light enemies, you're going to pull them over to you. This also has some damage increase for the rat when you hit them with this skill. So Rope Dart, interesting. First is Charge. And then activate second skill for the red buff, and you just keep hitting them. Like that little red and you will just be damaging the enemy at the same time. Dual Blades is a lot simpler to play. Dual Blades, first skill is a Gap Closer, and you get 3 charges to it. 3 charges. Second skill has a timing. Second skill, if you press it once, it looks like this. So if you press it twice immediately, you can catch the blade and do a horizontal slash. Press it once more, like that. And if you wait a bit more until the character catches the blade, you can press the skill again and it'll become 2 huge slashes. So number 1, wait for it to catch and then you press it again. Okay, press it. So those 2 slashes. So 2 variations to the first skill. The first one is press immediately for 1 slash. Second one, catch it. And 2 slashes. So what the 2 slashes does is it reduces your Gap Closer cooldown by a bit. So see, I'm going to use my Gap Closer here. So look, 0 charges. I'll catch the blade. So cooldown is reduced by a bit. Now, next thing is after you're doing all your normal attacks, your Dual Blades gauge is going to be filled. And if you've played Monster Hunter, you know what I'm going to talk about next. Once your gauge is filled, you press a heavy attack. You're going to go into demon mode. And then just spam light attack. This is gonna give you a bit of lifesteal as well. Really high attack speed, like that. So that's Dual Blades. Gap Closer. Catch the blade. 2 big hits. Demon mode. Light attack spam. So it's a really fun combination. Dual Blades and Rope Dart. Rope Dart. Charge this. Release. Call the red. And just go to town. Moving on to the next DPS, Rope Dart and Umbrella. This one is interesting. This one is also timing based. So starting with the Rope Dart, it's quite similar to the other Rope Dart. First you press R, heavy attack. And then once you hear the first ping, that means your attack is enhanced. The following 2 pings is the same. It heals you and also recovers your stance. And then you release it by pressing heavy attack. That's it. The number of hits of that heavy attack is based on the resource you have on the rope dart here. You see how it's slowly regenerating on the right? So if I do this, and I press heavy, it uses up 1 slot. So if you have 2 slots, you have the longest combo that you can get out of this spin. So spin once, and then my gauge is full. Straight away, spam heavy attack. So that's the longest combo. That's how it works for this charge attack. And for the first skill, it's really simple. First skill, you basically do this, and it puts you straight into spinning. And that's how you combo, and then press heavy attack again. And then second skill will be active. Second skill will be detonating the buff on them. Like that. You just snap your finger, and it will detonate. So the full rotation for this skill is simple. First is you do the first skill. First skill also gives you some resources for your rope dart. And then now you're back into spinning. And then just press heavy attack all the way. And then detonate. Like that. And now, for umbrella. This one's really fun. This one, you basically press catch the umbrella based on your timing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to press the first skill. See how it comes back to you? So you press the first skill again every time it comes back to you. And you get a bonus damage. Like that. That's how you play umbrella, and see how there's a phantom umbrella over there. You can basically teleport to it. So I throw the umbrella like this. And then second skill, you teleport to it. And it also does damage while you're like this. And then you press it again to teleport back if you want to that other umbrella. So this is how you play umbrella. Heavy attack also leaves a phantom umbrella on the enemy. Like that. Charge heavy. Release. So there's a phantom umbrella over there. As long as there's a phantom umbrella, you press second skill. You can teleport to it, and then you also can teleport back to it when you press it again. So umbrella, really simple. Teleport to umbrella and also catch the umbrella. First skill, catch the umbrella. Press it again. Press it again. Press it again. Press it again. It's based on the resources that you have on the umbrella that regenerates over time. So heavy attack. Put phantom umbrella. You can teleport to it. You can teleport back again. Like that. And then first skill. Catch. 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 Teleport. Teleport. Like that. So that's for umbrella and rope dart. Now we'll move on to the next DPS. This is Fan and Umbrella. Fan and Umbrella is a range DPS. This one is very interesting. It's also kind of technical. Fan and Umbrella. For starting with Fan. First skill of Fan is you put up a wind wall. This can launch enemies and also give you a floating buff. And what happens next is if you do the second skill, you can do an air combo like that. So Fan is all about the air combos if you do it fast enough. First skill, second skill. It becomes a 5-hit combo. Just like so. And this wall is actually really good in PvP. It blocks players from going across it. See? Also blocks projectiles. But it doesn't really work very well against bosses. They just ignore it most of the time. But if you're fighting human bosses, then yeah, you can launch them. You can do this, skill 1, and then skill 2. Combo, and then you press skill 2 again to teleport back to where you were. And then they also have a light and heavy charge attack. So light charge attack, you do a projectile. Tornado. This can also launch and also give you the buff. Same for heavy attack. Heavy attack is a melee gap closer. Like that. And then launch. Like so. So that's for Fan. Now Umbrella. Umbrella is also really fun. Umbrella basic attack is a range attack. Heavy attack is a melee attack. So now you can chain your light and heavy attack into the combo. So if I do light, and do heavy, I do this. So light, heavy, you throw the umbrella. The full light attack looks like this. Like that. And this is what the full heavy attack looks like. Full heavy. Like that. But if I do heavy, light, heavy, light, it becomes a little gap closer. But usually you won't use this combo too much in actual raids. Raids you'll be using skill more. And now for the other skill, light charge attack. This is a very popular attack with Umbrella. Light charge attack, hold left click, you fly in the air, you can move and shoot the enemy. And you consume stamina while doing this. This does a lot of damage with a properly built Fan and Umbrella. There's also a heavy charge attack for AoE, like that. Just hold heavy, and then release. Like that. This is for groups. And now let's talk about the two skills. So notice how there's 5 petals on the Umbrella. You get this by attacking and also just by like shooting the enemy. Now for the first skill, it's a simple projectile attack. Like that. If you have the internal arts equipped for Umbrella, you get 2 charges to this. And what this does is that it's gonna freeze enemies for 3 seconds. Can even freeze some bosses. Like this. It's a really heavy charge attack. It's like a shotgun from the Umbrella. Actual shotgun. They either get knocked away or get frozen for 3 seconds. And then you can just like shoot them after that. Now, second skill is pretty fun. Second skill, once you have enough charges on your Umbrella, you press second skill. You make it go into auto shooting. It just flies around and shoots enemy. And then you will hold the Umbrella sword with you. Like this. It fights like a normal sword. You can also switch weapons to Fan and fight with your Fan. Now, Umbrella out. And then Fan out. Like that. Now that covers all the DPSs already. There's only one set for tank and one set for healer. Tank, you will use the Modao, the glaive, and spear. For healer, it's also Fan and Umbrella, a different style of it. Another thing to note is if you don't know how to mix and match weapons, just look at the icon over here, like this little character inside the blue stamp. This is how you know that they are a pair. You see how they all match up. Tank, range, Umbrella, and a Fan. Same, just look for the same character. That's how you know they're a pair. They always synergize with each other, usually. You don't really have to play the two of them together. In PvE, PvE is easy enough. You can play whatever. Like you can play a Nameless Sword and then Healing Fan to save potions. So speaking of healing, the next weapon I'll talk about is healing. Now with healing is very simple. Just look at the 5 charges at the bottom and I'll explain what they mean. For starting with Fan, Healing Fan, the first skill of Healing Fan, the Q button, this gives everyone 1 burst healing and also damage increase by 20% for 12 seconds. So healers are still very good in parties. You basically buff everyone's damage. The second one, you will put the Fan in the air and it's gonna heal yourself or the lowest HP player, like so. And then you can switch to Fan and do whatever you want. So Umbrella is really simple. You can press the skill again to catch the Umbrella. And the other skill that Umbrella has is normal attack. Normal attack is range. And then heavy attack. Like that. Heavy attack would be putting the Umbrella to spin on the enemy. And you can hold this. So this is good when the enemy is down, like when bosses are down. You just press and hold heavy. And it's gonna drill them. So now for Fan. Fan is also simple. First skill of Fan, you put down like a water avatar. And it's gonna continually heal everyone in this area. Like that. Second skill is a regen. Second skill, you put a regen on yourself and the lowest HP player, and it's gonna cost you 2 resources. That 2 water resources to do this. You get this resources by doing everything else, other skills like the first skill, regenerate over time by staying in the field. So the other use of the second skill, that regen skill, is that it can revive players. You can select them in the party to revive them, or it will revive the closest player in raids as long as you have the resources. And the cooldown for revive is 30 seconds. And in raids, usually there's a revive limit of 5. So after 5 revives, there's no more. You need to restart the fight again. So second skill, do this. This will automatically revive anybody. Now there's another little gimmick with the 5 resources on your Fan. When you do the first skill of the Fan, if you have 5 of this water droplet resource, you can do a follow-up. So you press Q, and then you can press Q again. Like this. If you press again, it's going to do burst healing, and it's also immediately going to activate your Umbrella healing. So this is like a really, really good burst healing tactic with Fan and Umbrella when you have 5 resources and when you don't have to spend resources to heal people constantly. One thing to note about healing is that in single player mode, your very first encounter with bosses will have healing nerfed. That means you can't cheese bosses with constant burst healing. It's gonna get nerfed really hard. Like it still applies a bit of healing, but not enough to save you sometimes. Like you can't just keep taking hits and heal. So that's something to note when you fight bosses for the first time. Healing will be nerfed. After you beat the boss, and if you fight them again, then yeah, it's fine. Healing is back again to the full amount. The other thing special for healers is that healers get 20% damage increase for skills. I mean, what I mean by that is the skills that you can bring to the fight. I don't know what it's called in global, but it's all these skills. You get 20% increase. This is to compensate for no damage skills that healers have, apart from that umbrella charge attack. So yeah, healers fight with skills very often. All these skills, 20% increase. Moving on to the last one, tanking. So tank build will be using Spear and Modao, the big sword, the big glaive. So Spear is more like a utility tool. Spear has a light attack, like that. And then a heavy attack. And then a charge heavy attack. Like so. Now what Spear does is that the first attack of Spear, first skill, is going to do an AoE taunt. And also damage down debuff on the enemy. So this is where the tanking part comes. The second skill is going to apply vulnerability. So everybody will do 8% more damage to the enemy that has this debuff. And a further 8% increase for the tank themselves. So tanks will do 16% more damage whenever they get hit by this vulnerability attack, the second skill. And then now I'll just go straight to the Modao. Modao only has 2 skills. The first skill, but you just give yourself a 25% max HP shield. This is what makes you super tanky, and the cooldown is so short. Second skill is a crowd control skill. You're gonna pull everyone to you, and then you do this swing. And this swing allows your next attack to be charged faster. So Modao has 2 charge attacks. The first charge attack is light charge. This is more for AoE. And then you press again for follow-up. So light charge and light attack. Light charge and light attack. Like that. And then heavy charge and heavy attack would be for single target. This is the main nuke damage. This one hits really hard. Like that. Hold heavy. It can be charged to 2 tiers. Release. Heavy attack again. Yeah, this one hits very, very hard. Like if you do this in PvE, you pretty much destroy all of their stance and also their HP. So just because it's tank, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have damage. Now for the full rotation, very simple. You just use both skills of the spear. First skill, second skill. First skill is going to enhance your shield. See how the shield is red now? Press it. This is the enhanced version of the shield, giving you 30% charge attack increase. And then straight away go into charging. Charge, release, and then you can do a parry to cancel the animation. And then do it again. Charge. Release. Another charge. Parry cancel. Charge. Release. Heavy attack. Parry cancel. The second skill is not needed against bosses. This is more for crowd control. So when you're fighting bosses, you don't really need to do this. All you need to do is just spam charge attack. So yeah. Spear. First 2 skills. Switch weapon. Shield up. Straight away go into charging. Now, if you have the tank internal arts equipped, you can perform a full charge counter. Every 10 seconds, every time you block an attack, you can return with a full charge counter. Basically, this full charge attack for free. So let me show it to you. I'll just block. Look at the prompt. Full charge. Look at how it destroys them. The tank is crazy. Do it again. Counter is up. Like that. So that's how you play tanks. Just need to be careful. Sometimes the boss hits too hard. You don't want to be face tanking everything. Like even if you have the shield up, you're just going to take a lot of damage. So you still want to parry a lot and also get that free block counter in when it's safe. That's for solo bosses. But otherwise, in raids, when you have a healer, you don't need to care about blocking that much, blocking and parrying. You can just like face tank a lot of things. Just like unleash your charge attacks all the time. Charge attack, block and counter charge attack, block counter charge attack, like that. Now, the last DPS weapon. This is not released in global yet. This is the Hengdao with Modao. They are a set. This is only released months into the game, like 3 to 4 months in. When the 3rd chapter is out midway, and then you get this weapon set. This is a very cool weapon. So starting with the Modao first, the first skill of the Modao is a gap closer. You can tap it once, and then you're constantly running, and after 3 seconds, it's gonna charge, and then you release. You're gonna get a shield on top of that. But this is not very practical because 3 seconds, nobody's gonna wait for that. Usually, if you use this, you're just gonna tap it right away. Just release it right away for free damage, like that. Now, second skill is a buff. You give yourself a damage up buff, and you also give yourself a buff that summons phantom soldiers to fight for you in your combos. So I do this. And now, look at my first skill. I'm gonna do it again. Release. See how there's like 2 phantom soldiers doing that as well? And now for the charge attack, this only has heavy charge attack. So when I charge heavy charge attack, it's also gonna summon phantom while I'm charging. Like that. And then release. And now I switch to Hengdao. Hengdao has 2 skills. First skill is a gap closer. You can press it 3 times if you didn't hit enemies for the first one. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Like that. Second skill is a huge iframe skill, and also does a lot of hits in front of you. It also gives you a temporary buff, and this is going to change your first skill. So, number 1, number 2, and look at the third skill. It's a backward stab now. Before, it was a forward spin. Now you've seen both skills of Hengdao. The other one is light attack combo. That. Basic combo and heavy attack combo. And now, Hengdao has a charge attack combo. Charge light attack. So you hold light attack. And this thing here is only available, you see the prompt on the screen, that is only available after you level your Hengdao internal arts to level 3. This art here, the top one, this gold one. So you want this equipped to upgrade your Hengdao and have it level 3. And then what I'm going to do is, I do have light charge attack, and then I can do this cut over here. This one does a lot of damage. It does the most damage for Hengdao. So the way people play Hengdao is you're just spamming a light charge attack, and then spam this, light charge attack, spam this, light charge attack, spam F again, or heavy. And that heavy attack, this heavy attack also comes up whenever you parry an enemy. That's the special gimmick of Hengdao. It's a very parry-friendly skill. Oh, that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be. That was a special parry. Let me find another specimen. Alright. See? I parried and I can do this now. Counter attack. So that's the gimmick of Hengdao. Free parry counter. Very, very cool weapon. So unfortunate it's not coming on with launch. It's my favorite weapon. And this is how the Modao buff affects the Hengdao. If I summon my soldiers and I do Hengdao, if I do this and heavy counter, see how the 2 soldiers appear? So that's very high DPS against bosses. The other phantom effect of Hengdao is when you do the stab skill. So you put this, and then you get the buff from this skill, and then you do the first skill. The third hit of it. Third hit. Like that. So yeah, I know there's a bit of bias in the tutorials, like some guides are longer. That's because I use the weapons. The other weapons, I don't main them, but I know the general gist of it. So I hope you guys understand. And I hope that this video has given you an insight and first impressions on how all the weapons work. Hopefully it will help in your decision on the playstyle that you love. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.